of the Korea-Malaysia Business Forum, a gathering which holds great significance. I extend a sincere and warm welcome to the Malaysian delegation to Korea for joining us on this occasion. Korea and Malaysia have shared a long-standing friendship. We have grown together in trust and mutual support. The two-way trade between our countries has grown substantially over the years. Together, we have achieved a remarkable progress in trade. Our trade volume is now an astounding 10,000 times higher than it was in the early 1960s, and now stands at $25 billion. Our areas of cooperation have also widened significantly, traversing beyond the food industry to defense and high-tech sectors such as the semiconductor industry. Your Excellency, distinguished delegates and leaders of industry, the world's eyes are on Malaysia. This is because Malaysia is the only ASEAN country with a per capita GDP exceeding $10,000 amongst countries with populations larger than 10 million. I believe it's 35 million people in Malaysia. Respected institutions recognize Malaysia as the most investable country in Southeast Asia and one of the most competitive players in ASEAN. There's no doubt that Malaysia is at the center of ASEAN and is the economic hub of Southeast Asia. It is also significant that Your Excellency, the Prime Minister, is championing the initiative to establish the largest semiconductor design complex in Southeast Asia. I harbor no doubt that Malaysia, which is already the 6th largest semiconductor exporter in the world, will reach new heights in the high-tech sector. Today, Your Excellency, the Prime Minister will be personally involved in dialogue with Korean industry leaders. Allow me to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to Your Excellency, the Prime Minister, for your steadfast and active support of bilateral cooperation. We remain ready and committed as we seek your invaluable insight. In closing, I believe that the shared futures that Korea and Malaysia will build together can only thrive with your staunch support. We have high hopes for a successful conclusion of a free trade agreement between our two countries, which will bolster mutual cooperations in semiconductors, automobiles, defense, petrochemicals, pharmaceuticals, and more. It is my sincere hope that Korea and Malaysia will go hand in hand toward mutual prosperity, rising as global pivotal states. Terima kasih. Thank you.
진로이유 한국경제협회 회장님의 말씀 잘 들었습니다. 좋은 말씀 감사드립니다. 말씀 들으신 것처럼 말레이시아는 안와르 이브라임 총리님의 리더십으로 글로벌 경제 불확실성 속에서도 외국인 투자 유치와 경제 회복력에서 이렇게 좋은 성과를 이어가고 있습니다. 새로운 투자 유치 전략과 혁신적인 사업 환경을 통해서 국제적인 비즈니스의 중심지로 자리매김하고 있는데요. 이제 안와르 이브라임 총리님을 모시고 말씀 청해 듣도록 하겠습니다. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to invite the Right Honorable Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia, to deliver his remarks. 네, 총리님을 뜨거운 박수로 맞아주십시오.
Thank you, terima kasih, kamsahamnida. Sejin Royu, President and members, Minister Astro, Minister Hassan and friends. I don't intend to speak long, just to assure you what you need for a country to be attractive for investors. Number one is stable politically. And stability means is in a region that is generally stable. ASEAN is considered to be one of the most peaceful and stable regions in the world. And secondly, it is economically vibrant, clear policies, and able to attract business and with clear policies. What do I mean by clear policies? When you talk about industrial master plan, we at least give some very clear framework and roadmap. What are our priorities? What industries are to be encouraged? Then we realize that we need to then specify in more detail energy, what areas in the transition, digital and AI and data centers, and then semiconductor, because Malaysia now has become a major semiconductor hub in that region, which means we have then to specify what do we mean, do we have the ecosystem in place, what is the extent of supply chains framework there. Of course, our advantage is that in the STEP region, sub-region, we have ventured into that industry much earlier than most countries. Now, then the next point is what incentives, how efficient is the first setting up infrastructure, and which relates to the ecosystem, and efficiency of the government in terms of delivery or approvals. Now, fortunately, our government now, the leadership, is determined to make whatever change necessary to make Malaysia attractive with correct policies, reasonable incentive, and proper adequate infrastructure, which also includes training and getting professionals with discipline and the technical know-how. Now, these issues are being addressed, and that is why you can see now the pace of development and also the capacity to attract the new industries. And Korea is, of course, very known to us. There's a long history between ROK and Malaysia. And I sit in this morning's meeting with the President and in the bilateral, and ministers were there. It's interesting to suggest that when you talk about Malaysia, talk about Penang Bridge, Korea, Twin Tower, Korea, and now TRX, Korean. This is too much of Korean. And then not forgetting the Korean drama and K-pop. And people are familiar with this. And we see Korea as a friend. No problems, no tension, no colonial imperialistic design. So generally Malaysians welcome Korea. First the business, then the culture, then the investments, as true friend. And that's why I'm here on the invitation of the President. And we had a very long, extensive meeting discussing every detail, investment, what area, some traditional area of construction, some new areas like rare earth, digital, energy, some traditional ones like LNG, and then still moving ahead. So I, of course, will listen to you. I've listened to some of the business community groups here in this exchange, but you have to look at that possibility. I was in Germany. It's interesting. Germany has learned their lesson according to their political foreign policy position, that they can't rely on supply of energy from Russia, for example. Then they become closer to China for business. Then because they experience of Russia, they say they have now embarked on a new foreign policy, economic, called de-risk or de-risking, which means they will continue with China, but they will want new players, okay, for geopolitical considerations. And it's interesting, the new player happens to be ASEAN and more so Malaysia. And therefore, Infineon, one of the largest semiconductor makers of chips in Germany, has decided to move to Malaysia, the biggest investment outside Germany. And we are fortunate because all the major players, from AWS to NVIDIA to Google to Microsoft to Oracle, have big investments in design here. So the semiconductor in Korea is very advanced and it's considered to be a major player in the region. So I'm not confining to one particular field, but what I'm saying is, for many of you who have had experience in Malaysia, should also help promote, because as I've said, and I will reiterate this point, that Malaysia is essentially a trading nation. We went ahead some time back because we promote FTAs in trade. Of course, there was some sluggish development due to political instability over the past. But now that we are already on track, we want to move at a faster pace. And one of the key ingredients of this capacity to attract is to give confidence to the players. You can only be confident partly through FTAs. And that's why I gave assurance, and we discussed, both leaders this morning at the presidential office, that we will facilitate and fasten the process of negotiations with the FTA. And when he is coming to Malaysia next year, we'll of course sign and finalize the FTA next year. So I should say that we are on track to move, and we will certainly welcome officers of MIDA is here, which will certainly help coordinate together with the embassy. Right? Zafrul, you want to add a bit there, please?
Yeah. Well, thank you, the Honourable Prime Minister Ibrahim. Of course, we have together today the three other ministers. We have the Foreign Minister, Muhammad Hassan Chamikang, our Minister of Science, Science, Technology and Innovation, and also Minister Aaron, or Minister of National Unity. And thank you again, Mr. Jin, for the opening remarks. A very good afternoon to everyone. Annyeonghaseyo. Right, and it is my honor to be the moderator. I think without wasting so much time, we would like to start the moderated session. Prime Minister, is that okay? Because I was made to understand there are many questions that they want to pose to you, sir. So can we now open the floor to questions? Please feel free to ask any difficult questions. Our Prime Minister is very eager to answer difficult questions. The easy ones I will answer. So, yes, can we start?
네,
Please.
QR코드 활용해서 질의응답 지금 남겨주셔도 되고요. 이제 이어지는 질의응답 시간 바로 시작을 하도록 하겠습니다.
Thank you. Is that okay we start now, sir? Okay. Yes, please. Can you just also name where you're from and which company? Thank you.
I'm Das from AWANI Korea. Recently is here with me today. So we work on data transformation, digital transformation, governance, and AI. So we already have opened a joint venture company in the industry in Malaysia, STMBHD, and we want to embark on the My Digital journey that the Honorable Prime Minister is envisioning. And we want to join forces and digitally transform Malaysia to be a leading example in the world of a digitally transformed government. So please, it's not a question actually, please advise us on the best approach that we can take to join forces and build our vision and mission together.
There is a policy, but then you can still coordinate through MIDA. Then we have a digital ministry. We have the MCMC. The chief is here in terms of coordination and identifying areas that you can come in. And so it's an open field. Of course, most countries come in for the data center and AI, but you are saying about something more specific. So I think you should be able to visit, and we will help coordinate the meetings with the various authorities, because digital means education, health, immigration, customs, so it is the entire government's effort other than working with the private sector.
Also aim to bridge the digital gap, and in terms of the education platforms that we've already designed, we want to just enhance them to a level that is unparalleled in the world.
Great. Because you asked me my passion, my concern is exactly that. We can't have AI and allow for this divide to broaden. Okay? So which means the AI that we introduced in Malaysia is very strongly people-oriented. From the urban poor to the rural heartland must be given the capacity. At least our connectivity now is already 85%. Among emerging economies, we have been quite successful. But our concern is, of course, to have adequate exposure, training, and we see AI for the people, and the massive campaign to get this understanding at all levels, schools and villages and urban poor.
Yeah, we at Data Streams are very thankful for your motivational words, and we look forward to forces and do things together, do the magic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
네.
Yes, can we have the...
질의응답이 마무리됐는데요. 저희가 미리 사전에 받은 질문들이 있습니다. 그래서 앞에 스크린에 보시고 진행해 주시면 통역에 도움이 될 것 같습니다.
Yes. Thank you. But I think we would like to have a more interactive session, so we'll get the floor to direct the questions. So, any other questions from the floor, please? Yes. On the lady on the right? Yes.
Hello, my name is Mina Choi. We invest in the IRS landfill in Terengganu State, and it was mentioned in the MOU between two countries regarding Article 6. We are very honored, and we are working on the feasibility study with the Korean Ministry of Environment soon. Hopefully next year, January. But now we are facing some challenges in Malaysia. Number one is we have a very, very low tipping fees compared to Korean landfill project. And then next...
Sorry, low what?
Tipping fees, meaning the waste management. Yeah. Then we have environmental regulation changes in Malaysia. It's kind of all of a sudden, so we face a little bit of challenges on the economical part. So we are a little bit worried. Number one, carbon offset program between two countries will be proceed without much delay. Number two, what kind of support we could get it from Malaysia. For example, electric grid is not reach our site, which make us very, very economically poor in terms of starting the project. This is the two questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think what you need to do is just sit down. We have minor officers here to go to the specifics. What is the issue? What can we do to help resolve that problem? But secondly, on the issue of environment, of course, we're quite strict in that, with all these issues of climate change and challenges to the environment. Particularly the impact assessment study is very critical. But if your concern is that they kept on changing the goalposts or rules, then of course we have to be kept informed. And then the delay in approvals, that is also something that we will have to monitor. I heard some of these complaints, but then if you are kind enough to contact our embassy or minor officers here, then we will certainly deal with it.
Thank you. Okay, can we proceed to the next question, please? Yes.
Hello, my name is Alex Ling from LANGSUNG Global Logistics, which is one of the largest logistics company in Korea. We opened our company in Malaysia this year, and when I just visited the Johor, Singapore, special economic zone, the presentations last month, and then we heard that the Prime Minister is planning and then also leading that project by himself. And we are providing global logistics services to the producers, especially some of the companies who wants to build up their factories in Johor, Malaysia, Singapore, special economic zone. We think that if Korean investors and manufacturing companies, if they just build up their factories and then they can use low labor cost and also business-friendly infrastructures from Johor area. And then geographically, it is very close to Singapore, which is a global hub gateway for the logistics and global SCM strategy. I heard that the Prime Minister is planning to sign this agreement with Singapore 6th of December. We would like to get to know the progress of this special agreement between Malaysia and Singapore, and then also whether you are planning to just to consider the borderless transportation and the movement of people between two countries. Then a lot of investors can consider the global logistics and then SDM very cost-effective, and then also for the logistics company can plan a lot of things for their customers in Johor, Singapore special economic zone. And also the second question I have, I believe that Malaysia has Port Klang as one of the great ports in Malaysia. And then what for better, cost-effective the logistics industry, I believe that the railway transportation for freight is really necessary. I would like to ask you whether you have some plan to build a more efficient railway the networks in Malaysia and also connected to Bangkok, Thailand. It would be really good chance for the Korean company who will have a plan to invest in Malaysia, because the gateway of the logistics can start from Singapore area and then connected to Malaysia, and then it can be connected to South Thailand if there is really efficient railway network. So there are two questions.
Thank you. Zafro will deal with the second question. Let me deal with this with economic zone. Really, the whole idea of economic zone is to use this complementary position between Johor and Singapore, because Singapore doesn't have land and professional workers shortage, and also the broader infrastructure. So, and that, of course, on the 6th, perhaps Singapore will be in Malaysia, and we will send the broad parameters what can be agreed upon. Of course, there will be facilitation of movement of professionals. That is, of course, contingent to preconditions to ensure the success of the economic zone. But more important still is the incentive that we provide and priorities that we give for the select industries to facilitate the movement of people and also of goods. But I don't see that much of an issue except for some regulatory matters and legal. But both governments, both leaders have already agreed in principle that we have economic zone, which we call Singapore Johor Economic Zone, which is to allow for the movement. I think that's basically the important feature of this economic zone. Now we have, for example, data centers in Johor because we have cheaper energy and cheaper availability of water. That is also a critical point. But of course, as a country, we also preserve the interest of Johor and Malaysia. So we will have to have an arrangement that is win-win between both countries. But the whole idea is to make sure that both of these countries can benefit from such arrangement. You see, the important message is this. For sub-regions to succeed, that collaboration is essential. I mentioned specifically here, Johor, Singapore. But in the north, it's a different issue. South Thailand is considered to be a relatively poor area. And because there are Muslims there, sometimes you hear some issues because of the mainly poverty and the feeling they're being marginalized. Similarly, North Malaya is also predominantly poorer states. So the agreement between Malaysia and Thailand is to use this sort of somewhat synergy between this locality in the north of Malaya and South Thailand to try to prop up some development, joint development efforts, and that can be done. I mean, the same principle applies to Johor and Singapore. So I think now it has gained a lot of attraction because Singapore has limitations, so Malaysia has limitations. By combining, we use the strength of both to be able to propel the region. The second point.
Right, thank you, Prime Minister. So the second question is about the logistics between the port and marrying it with the logistics of the rail. So for your information, not sure whether you're aware, we have the ECRL, which will be connecting the ports. In fact, it starts all the way from Kota Baru to Gombak, and that's the phase one, and that will start on 31st December 2026. Then from Gombak to the port in Klang will be 31st December 2027. As it is already, we have a rail link all the way from the north of the peninsula, from even Perlis all the way down, and I think in October recently it started all the way down to Johor. So definitely we are mindful of the fact that the logistic has to be integrated by land, air and sea, and even for your Johor Special Economic Zone, we have a big airport there as well, Senai Airport, and the Prime Minister also, the Finance Minister has approved the expansion of the Penang Airport because there's seen a growth in volume, both passengers and goods from Penang, especially given that Penang is now one of the big hubs for semiconductor. So we have a plan, and in fact the Prime Minister recently launched the expansion of Westport, one of the big ports, because by the end of this year, our port in Klang will be expected to be the 10th busiest ports in the world. And it is important that we continue to invest in our logistics infrastructure, and that's what's happening today. Thank you. We have any other questions? Yes, please.
My name is Chris Park from Samsung ENA. We are developing shackled CCS project, capturing CO2 from Korea and deliver to Malaysia for permanent storage. And we have intention to decarbonize the region with this project, and we really appreciate your support to sign bilateral MOU this morning. It will be very strong driver for industry to move forward. However, we still need a bilateral agreement in process to have commercial operation. So in this regard, we would like to ask Malaysia government's plan to make this happen in either 2025 or 2026.
Astro has a long history in Malaysia. I think you have enough people there to be able to engage with our team. They know how the amendments work, and in fact, I'm very happy LANGSUNG is expanding their operations in Malaysia, and it has become an important center for LANGSUNG too. We've been rather supportive. And if there are new ventures, then probably you have to discuss in detail with my unless the floor is to end.
No, as what you said, both Prime Minister and the President of Korea witnessed the signing of the MOU. I think that's the beginning, and Malaysia also going to our Parliament to pass some of the laws, which will then formalize some of the regulations behind the industry requirement in terms of guidelines, etc. And there are many Malaysian companies together working closely with the Korean companies in this area of CCS as well as CCUS. In fact, some of them, as you know, are meeting the Prime Minister during this trip. Thank you. So we have time for two more questions. Are there questions from any Malaysian companies who are also here today? Today we also have present from Malaysian companies. Yes, please. There. This one. Yes, we have yes. Question from. Oh.
Good afternoon, Prime Minister, Ms. Astro. My name is Tony Fernandez. We've had a fantastic experience in Korea investing here. We're now doing...
Tony is actually a wide experience in Korea.
Very wide. We're now doing 50 flights a week to Korea, carrying 1.3 million passengers, growing to 70 flights next year. We're adding KL Busan, KL Daegu, and KL Jeju. And on request from Mr. Zafrul, we'll be opening Seoul, Penang in March of next year, which has been a request from many Korean companies. We've invested in tech in Korea, doing payment, messaging, and blockchain. And also Koreans have helped us promote our brand. We sponsored Jisung Park, which, and presently, we sponsor a lot of K-dramas, and presently we're negotiating with Black Label for Rosé, who has a hit song with Bruno Mars. She's going to be endorsing AirAsia. I'm sure you know the song, Prime Minister. Maybe you can sing it for us later. Apate. We also own a school called Epsom College, which 15% are Koreans, and we're actually looking for a partner to open the school in Jeju, to ask any Koreans looking to partner us to opening our boarding school in Jeju. I also, based on the question, want to also promote Malaysia as a logistics hub. We have tremendous opportunities. We have ourselves opened a company called Teleport that has grown logistics from zero. We just overtook Singapore Airlines as the #1 air cargo. So we'd like to also recommend to Korean companies to look at Malaysia as a logistics hub. We have fantastic connectivity, not only in air, but in road and ships. And finally, many Korean airlines are now looking at maintaining their planes in Malaysia. We opened a big hangar called ADE, as we are more affordable, and we're in joint venture with many Korean aircraft manufacturers in landing gears and engines. So it's been a very good story, and as you said, Prime Minister, this is kind of my second home as well. Thank you for inviting me.
I don't know whether there was a question, but we know the second home. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Tony. Yeah, we have time for perhaps 2 more questions. Yes, please.
Assalamualaikum, annyeonghaseyo. I'm from Malaysia, President Perdana. My name is Asman. I'm representative from Malay Chambers of Malaysia. we are Malaysian happy with our Prime Minister to promote halal in the world. From the perspective of our association for Malaysia, we want to promote in Korea Selatan such as halal metropolis or halal corridor, super corridor here, because we have a subject matter expert in terms of halal such as R&D, halal science and land, and then halal innovation center, halal excellence center, and halal ingredient value. So we have interested to collaborate with businesses from Korea to make it a halal metropolis corridor or halal super corridor. Thank you, Mr. Minister.
Halal was also discussed this morning with the President. In fact, during lunch we served halal food, halal beef. The potential, both the export of halal beef from Korea to Malaysia has increased, and similarly the import from Malaysia to Korea, the export from Malaysia to Korea is also, it comes to about 5 billion ringgit also. So I think it is important to develop it because there's huge potential. We're talking about $1 trillion of potential in the halal industry that could penetrate. Malaysia has an advantage because our certification is considered one of the most trusted in the world. You go from China to Brazil to Peru, even in the countries in the Middle East, they still want clear certification from Malaysia. So I think that's what collaboration is important.
Thank you. Yes, please. One behind, yeah. Yes, we can hear you. Oh, no, sorry. We change the mic, please.
Hello. Yes. Thank you for making this honorable time. My name is Sean Park. I'm the Smart City consultant for KIND and World Bank. And I have like 2 questions for you. And one is, what would be the roadmap for Smart City that Malaysia is planning for the next 5 years regarding renewable energy, such as like ESS and EV? And second is, what is your view on Malaysia's healthcare embracing IR 4.0?
Well, Zafar may add, but you know, in our digital framework and roadmap, the application of digitalization, AI, which includes smart city, is a priority. Now, as I have alluded to earlier, the push towards this sort of program in all fields, and cities, of course, will take a bit more time, but it is considered to be one of the priorities in the roadmap towards the full digitalization. But now we are going now to ministries and education before we embark on for a comprehensive program in what is considered a smart city. It is in the program, but I must say that it is something which is in the plan. It's not being executed that effectively yet. So we look forward to your suggestions.
So thank you very much. In fact, the President during our meeting did mention in his own speech during lunch about the importance of working deeper when it comes to collaboration on smart cities. For Malaysia, we are, like what Prime Minister said, we're building the digital infrastructure. We need a strong digital infrastructure for that to improve the quality of life at the end of the residents. Is that the whole purpose of having a smart city? And on your second question on healthcare, I think our government is also working on upgrading the healthcare infrastructure through digitalization. Many times, Prime Minister has been pushing all of us to digitize it. In fact, earlier this year, Prime Minister formed a new ministry called the Digital Ministry, because at the end of the day, digital technology, digital infrastructure is an enabler to all ministries, including healthcare, and of course my ministry and various other ministries as well. So it's definitely in the agenda, and we need to ensure that the people are also ready, and the Prime Minister always talked about digital gap. This is where we need to get people ready, infrastructure ready, to ensure that everyone benefits from this inclusive growth in digital technology. So, sir, I think we have run out of time. If it's possible, as we conclude this insightful forum today, I wish to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our Prime Minister for sharing valuable perspectives. Thank you very much. I believe your insights have provided us with a deeper understanding of the opportunities and challenges ahead for both our nations. I would also like to thank the business leaders and participants who have posed thoughtful questions, difficult questions, contributing to a vibrant discussion that highlight the importance of collaboration in fostering economic growth and reflects also the commitment of both countries to strengthen ties and explore new avenues for partnership. I think the MC is ready to conclude. She's looking at me to stop talking. So thank you again, once again, for your participation. Look forward, it's actually one-day affair, so they will continue without us. So I look forward to seeing the positive outcomes of our discussions today. Thank you.
네, 감사합니다. 제 역할을 없어질 뻔했어요. 자프르 라지즈 말레이시아 국제통상산업부 장관님께서 정말 멋지게 질의응답 시간 맡아서 진행해 주셨습니다. 오늘 아침에 윤석열 대통령과 정상회담을 가지고 오셨죠. 아마 벌써 뉴스에서 확인하신 분들도 계실 텐데요. 이제 내년에 수교 65주년을 맞아서 양국 간 전략적 동반자 관계를 수립하기로 했습니다. 아마 오늘 오신 분들도 많은 인사이트를 얻어가셨을 것 같습니다. 네, 오늘 포럼을 마무리하기에 앞서서 오늘 앞에 계신 세 분 모시고요. 또 많은 참석자분들과 함께 기념사진을 촬영하는 시간을 가지도록 하겠습니다. 자리에 계시면 되고요. 세 분 모시고 저희 사진 작가가 무대에서 사진을 촬영하는 구도로 해서 촬영을 하도록 하겠습니다.